my beautiful people. How are you guys? I hope you guys are doing amazing. I'm doing good. It's a beautiful Saturday. I have time to sit here and film. I have things I want to share with you guys. I've literally written down the things that I want to talk about so that I'm not all over the place for once in my life. And I want to be as informative and open and just personable as I possibly can be with you guys, and just kind of walk you guys through my journey of living with PCOS and tell you guys a little bit about it for those of you who've had many questions about it. I just kind of want to talk about it and answer questions that you guys may have by just helping to educate you guys on exactly what it is and everything that PCOS entails. So this is going to be a little bit different than most of my videos, only because I'm really trying to transition out of that beauty world. I don't feel like, me personally, it's a fulfilling thing for me because I don't feel like it's a passion of mine. But living in this world and giving something to offer you guys, being able to help educate and encourage and motivate you guys, men, women, whatever, I'm here to do that. And I think that this is going to be a really good step to transitioning my channel into something a little bit more lifestyle, a little bit more me, but also still giving you guys content that I think you guys will hopefully enjoy or learn a lot from. So I just want to take that time to do that in this video, and I hope that you guys will be willing to take that journey with me with transitioning my channel. It's not going to completely go away. I just want to get out of that beauty and it's not me. I want to go more into health, living for your full potential, living for yourself and being the best possible healthy version of yourself as you can possibly be, and breaking into the lifestyle side of things. I'm in my high 20s, guys. I'm getting into my real life adulthood, and I don't have time to just play with hair and makeup all the time. Like, I want to do something that I think you guys can truly gain, some kind of either education or motivation or just information from. And so that's why I'm doing this video. Sorry, this is such a long intro, but that's why I'm doing this video for you guys. I'm just going to be sitting here doing this makeup look that I hate. I think everything about it went wrong, probably because I wasn't ready for it. And then just kind of educate you guys on PCOS and what it is, since I have it and I've been living with it now for a few years that I know of. Also, just really quick, I will be shouting out a few different people in this video because I have on this really cute little two-piece, okay? This cozy set. Like, can we talk about how cute this is? Okay. I got this cute little set on from BluTheCollection. I'm also wearing my cousin's eyelashes from Cotton Eyes, which you guys will see me put on. These are these beautiful things right here. These are my cousin's lashes. I'm so proud of her. She's doing big things. And I mean, gorgeous or what? Like, look at these lashes. And then I'm also wearing a friend of mine, her little brow balm, Forever KV, on the brows. Okay. I just had to do a little quick shout out. I think it's so important for us to, one, encourage other women, but two, like, if you have friends or family who are working on, having a business and creating this future for themselves, it doesn't cost you anything to just promote them and support them. You know what I mean? So that's what I just did right now. But anyways, if you guys are interested in learning a little bit more about PCOS, or you want to see this busted ass crooked eyeliner look, then go ahead and just keep on watching. Right, so we're just gonna get right into it. I'm gonna just talk to you guys about what PCOS is while I'm getting ready. I do get a lot of questions when I post about it. I actually wrote notes for you guys because, like, this is how serious I'm trying to be about this. But I get a lot of questions from you guys when I'm posting about it on social media. And so I thought, you know what, this would be a really good time for me to just kind of come on here and talk to you guys and tell you guys kind of what my experience was with PCOS, or is rather, and kind of like what I've been doing and how I've been trying to, just live with PCOS. But also, I've heard something where a lot of women have reversed their PCOS. So if that's a legit thing, like, I'm all for it. And so first things first, I'm going to just kind of tell you guys a little bit about what it is, and then kind of tell you about my journey with it. So PCOS, a lot of you have asked me, when I talk about it, what is PCOS? Well, PCOS stands for, and I'm going to say it a certain way, but I'll also tell you what it shows up when you Google it or whatever, but it's polycystic ovary syndrome. My doctor told me, when she first told me about it, the first doctor that told me about it, she told me it was called polycystic ovarian syndrome. So I just say ovarian, but you can say ovarian, ovary, whatever. So what that basically means is that it is a hormonal condition for women, and it often happens during like your childbearing years. There's so many different ages that women can start getting it, but it's more so when you get into your 20s. I didn't really start noticing it until closer to my mid-20s, and so that's kind of what I think of when I think of childbearing years, is more like mid-20s, but it can vary for anybody. That's kind of what I get from it. And really what it is, in all, like just in layman's terms, is it's a hormonal imbalance with your body. And so, you know, these are the different kinds of symptoms. I'll just kind of tell you guys what those symptoms are and what I pretty much noticed for myself. So the different symptoms for polycystic ovarian syndrome, and then from this point forward, I'll actually be calling it PCOS just because it's so much easier. But they are, one, obviously the hormonal imbalance. You'll have a lot of irregular moods, irregular periods, like you just don't feel necessarily good or like yourself, right? Like something about you feels different or off, in my opinion. This is just, all of the things I'm going to say are really coming from my personal experience with PCOS, so it could show up very different in every person, but it is still kind of all about the same kind of symptoms and whatever. So let me just look at this really quick and then I'll tell you guys. I don't want to like go on forever on like tangents because I tend to do that a lot. So that's why I'm trying to just make sure that when I'm talking about this, I'm giving it to you very clear and on point. So hormonal imbalance, irregular periods, irregular moods, weight gain, acne, unwanted hair growth, whether that be facial or on the body. Like, I'm gonna be real with you guys, like I'm gonna be 100% legit. I have grown such a happy trail. I feel like a dude. I've grown hair in places that I never thought I would grow hair, and I hate it. But I mean, it is what it is, you know, like I'm living with PCOS and I have to just kind of go through it, and I have to just kind of, you know, live through the motions of having it, having those symptoms and just, you know, not feeling quite like myself. So there's that. But also, as far as like health concerns, is it actually can cause things like diabetes, high blood pressure, ovarian cancer, infertility. You'll get cysts on your ovaries that can be extremely painful. There is that possibility of just like very painful sex or pain while having sex. And then something that I actually just read up on recently was that it can actually cause darkness in skin and skin tags in areas like the neck and the armpits, which is crazy to me because if you guys look at, first of all, I got these weird bug bites right here, which I think is super strange. But if you guys look at my armpit, like I never used to have this darkness when I would shave or whatever. Like it would just be like smooth like this. And now I have this weird darkness, and I'm starting to notice more of these skin tag growths. So like on my neck, I have some. You can't really see them because these ones are a little bit lighter, but that one's kind of a big one. And then again, like in my armpit, which I never used to have growing up, and now I have that. So that's kind of some of the things that you will see with PCOS as far as symptoms. Now, a lot of you guys ask me, well, how do you get PCOS? Honestly, even doctors don't really know how you get PCOS, right? It's not really like, oh, you eat too much of this and then you have this, or you don't take care of your body so now you have this. Like, no, it's just completely unknown at this point. I mean, if you have a family member who has PCOS, chances are you're going to get PCOS. And I mean that more like your mom, your sister, that kind of stuff. But yeah, so like doctors don't really know how you get it. There is no like rhyme or reason. It just happens. And actually it happens in quite a lot of women. Like there are so many women in today's world that actually are living with PCOS. And it sucks because it really is kind of something that just makes you feel, it's so hard to explain because it just makes you feel so crappy. Like your body is just completely out of whack. You just don't feel like yourself. You have these crazy mood swings sometimes. And then on top of that, like you have to deal with pain, and you have to deal with, you know, just internal stuff that like, you're like, okay, I feel so ugly today because look at how many pimples I have. I broke out like insane. Like I'm 28. Like why am I getting pimples? Like I have to go through these kinds of things, and I have to feel those feelings and be with them and be gentle to myself. And that's something that I also really want to tell you guys is like, be gentle with your body. it's taken a lot for me to get to the point where now I'm like, okay, you know what? I am so grateful for the body that I have, because this body helps me survive my day to day. Like, this body gets me through life, and I have to be good to it and take care of it. And, you know, I didn't really think too much about that when I was younger, but as I get older, like, this is the only body we're ever going to have, guys. Like, we have to take care of it. What they were able to, and I'm going to have to read this because I did take this down from a website. What they were able to basically kind of break it down to is this. It's an imbalance in the hormones that are in your brain and your ovaries. And it's usually when the luteinizing hormone, or LH, levels are way too high, or you can even have your levels of insulin that are too high, which cause extra amounts of testosterone. So especially like in my case, my testosterone levels were far above the average females are supposed to be. And when I got my blood work done, they were like extremely high. They were in the red, and, you know, I now have to take medication on top of my birth control to help me really keep all of that in line and bring my testosterone levels down. I don't remember exactly. I think if I remember when I was reading through my documentation, because I actually purchased this PCOS guide, and I will link it down below for you guys. There's so much good information in it. But in that guide, I believe it says that most women's like levels are supposed to be between a certain number and 60. And mine's at like 158. So, you know, that's just not, that's not good levels. That's not normal. Do I like that? Yeah, whatever. So you got to keep that in mind when you're thinking about PCOS. It really is just a complete and total imbalance of your hormones. You know, we're human beings. We all have testosterone, estrogen. We all have these different kinds of hormones in our body that make us who we are, have our bodies react the way that they're supposed to. And if those levels are out of whack, then you're going to have some issues, which is pretty much what happened with me. So I also get the question a lot, how do you know that you have PCOS? Because, oh, that was so hard. I'm doing this on a screen, so it's like backwards almost. So yeah, I get this question a lot. How do you know that you have PCOS? And, you know, there really is no sure tell way to know without actually going to the doctor and getting your tests run. But the symptoms that you guys will experience, and again, it could be different for everyone. So the symptoms that I have could be different for you guys. You know, like you guys could have gone through similar things or different things and still had PCOS. So just keep that in mind. Basically, just keep in mind this, like, you know your body better than anybody else. You know when things don't feel right. You know when things are irregular or they're not like they used to be, or, you know, just you're going to know best than anybody else as far as like how you're feeling. The test results and the x-rays and all that stuff, you know, it's going to help, but you're not really going to get to that point until you start noticing those changes in your body. And so, for instance, like with me, what I really started noticing first was the acne. Like one day my face just blew up with acne, and I was like, where the hell are you from? Like, when did you get here? Who are you? And I was like, wow, like this is crazy. I shouldn't be having acne at 26. Like, this is not, we should have grown out of that, right? Like, no, what's going on? And so that was like one of the biggest things for me, is that I started noticing acne that I had never, ever experienced in my life before. Like, this was bad. And if you guys have been watching me for a while, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. And I can try to find like an old picture to kind of put in here, like right backwards. I'll put it in here so you guys can see it, but you guys know exactly what I'm talking about as far as like how my skin changed. And so you'll start noticing things like that. I also started noticing that I was gaining a lot of weight, and I was like, how am I gaining so much weight? Like, I haven't changed anything in my diet. I haven't been eating particularly horrible. I mean, for the most part, my diet has always been fairly decent. I'm not going to say that I don't eat junk and sweets and whatever, because I do. I love hot chips. I love ice cream, whatever. But excuse me, why does my eyebrow look like that? That one's not growing in well. I don't know. This used to be my favorite eyebrow, and now it's not. This one's more my favorite. But anyways, so keep that in mind. Like with me, like I said, I started getting acne. I started gaining weight. I started growing hair, and I was like so pissed because I'm gonna tell you guys a little secret. I went and got laser hair removal on my mustache back in the day, and it grew back, and I was so pissed, and I was like telling them, like, why did I go and spend all this money on getting laser hair removal if it's just going to grow back? And at that time, they told me, you know, like, it could be your hormones. Like, we can't really do anything about hormones. Like, you should probably go get your hormones checked out. And I was like, what a cop-out. Like, they're just trying to tell me it's my hormones because they don't want to give me a refund. But, you know, little did young Heather know at that time, like, that was probably the beginning stages of my PCOS, that I probably could have started working on, you know, helping or trying to actually see if we can reverse it at a younger age. But, you know, you didn't know. Like, I didn't know. You live, you learn. Like, and that's why I kind of want to just, like, put this video out there for you guys, because it's like, we may not know what's going on in our bodies, but if you get a little inkling of something not feeling right, like, this is the best time for you to go out there and get your tests, talk to your doctors, you know, just make sure that you're doing what's best for you, because like I said, you are the best person to know your body. So what I would definitely say is talk to a doctor who specializes in it. I went way too much to doctors that just really didn't know much. Not that they didn't know much about it, but they just weren't concerned with it. Like, I feel like the very first doctor I went to, she was the one that told me I had PCOS, which was great because, like, at that time I had never heard of it. So I was like, okay, well, that's good to know. Like, now what can I do? And her response to me was literally like, there's really not much you can do. I can put you on a higher level to estrogen birth control, and that's about it. And I'm like, so I just have to live with this for the rest of my life? Like, that kind of sucks, you know? But I mean, that's basically what her knowledge of PCOS was, and that's fine. Like, I don't ding her for that in any way, shape, or form. I think that's just kind of what it was, like, the extent of her knowledge when it came to PCOS. And so then I went to see another doctor about it, and I just did like a year follow-up. I wanted to make sure that things were good, see if my levels went down, because I had been taking the birth control for a year. I wanted to see, you know, if anything changed. And unfortunately, like, it didn't. They actually had to do what's called a transvaginal ultrasound, where they literally stick a camera up inside your hoo-ha and they take snapshots of your ovaries, and it just turned out that my ovaries, the cysts on my ovaries had actually grown 3 times the size. And so, you know, what was once my little ovary was now this cyst the size of like a golf ball. So luckily the ovaries aren't to a point where they're going to have to surgically remove them or remove my fallopian tubes or, you know, mess around with my uterus or anything, which thank the good Lord, because one day I'd love to have kids. But it did show that there was some growth in the cysts. And so that's just something that this last time that I, you know, talked to a doctor about it, that's what really kind of pushed me into wanting to learn more about my body, wanting to learn more about PCOS, and really just kind of be that source for you guys to come to and talk to if you guys have questions about it. I mean, I think it's so important for us to know our bodies. Like, we're getting older, we need to take care of ourselves. You know, we're not back in our teenage years where we could do whatever and our body would bounce back. Like, no, that's not how things work. So definitely go see a doctor. I'm gonna just leave that. We're not gonna do anything cray-cray today because I really want to talk to you guys, but I didn't want it to be like super boring with me just talking. So I was like, let me just do a little makeup while I talk. But anyways, definitely talk to your doctor and see if you can find a doctor. Am I out? Oh, there we go. I was about to be so sad. Guys, I went back to the Maybelline Fit Me foundation, which is cray-cray because I used to love this stuff. And then I stopped using it. I don't know why. And then now I'm running out, so that kind of sucks. I guess we'll use a little bit of the Glamouflage to help us out. But anyways, so talk to your doctor and, you know, see about getting blood work done, but not just your everyday normal blood work, you guys. You really need to talk to them about getting a full panel, which is something that my doctor told me most recently. He's like, hey, I'm sure that they've done, you know, XYZ, but there is a chance that they didn't do a full panel blood work on you, which means we're not going to be able to see, you know, what your insulin levels are, your cholesterol levels, like where your LH levels really are sitting, where your FSH levels are, where, you know, just everything that goes on in the body. We're not going to really know that without doing a full screen. So I was all for it. I was like, do whatever you think we need to do, doctor, because clearly I didn't have the best experience with some of the other doctors. So this last doctor that I went to and that I found out here in California has just been awesome. I feel so much more at ease because he just has so much more knowledge, and he seems more sure of himself when he tells me things. And he's like, you know, birth control isn't the only option. Like, we can do things to help you speed up the process of normalizing your hormones and balancing them out, which I was just like, okay, well then why didn't they tell me that like 2 years ago when I was over here so sad about the fact that, you know, I was all jacked up in my mind. But anyways, really just talk to your doctor, do the full panel blood work. Like, it's going to be the best thing you could ever do. I need to lighten this up. This is not my color anymore. And have them do, you know, like anything down to allergies. Like, surprisingly, he had me even test my allergies, and it turned out to be like a super, super good decision because I didn't realize how much I was actually allergic to and what was making me feel so lethargic and just tired all the time. Like, I was telling him I never have energy for anything after work. Like, I'm just literally so dead and tired, and I hate it. And so, you know, he really wanted us to look into that and just see, you know, what's going on. And so I did find out that I have quite a bit of allergies. I actually have a severe respiratory allergy that I never knew about for like trees and grass and all of that. And so I am now actually taking this nasal spray called Azelastine, and I have to take this and do it every morning and night. And we found out that I actually am low on vitamin D, so now I have to take these little guys every Saturday. So I take a vitamin D supplement. I mean, I could go purchase vitamin D from the store, but those are like higher level. And then I also take what's called spironolactone, which is going to help me really just reduce my testosterone levels, bring my levels back down to normal, so that one, I can get rid of this acne, which came from the lovely purging phase of spironolactone, which I was super, 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 super upset about. But you know what? Like, if we can just get this body in order, then we won't have to worry about acne anymore. So I just gotta stay positive. But yeah, and then, you know, they found out that I actually have high cholesterol, which I never would have guessed. And so, I mean, we'll get into what I've been doing because of all of these newfound discoveries, but it's just very, 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 very important for you guys to go and get yourselves checked. Go talk to a doctor. I have so many of you guys who reach out to me and you're like, I think I might have PCOS, but I don't know. Like, how did you know? What do you do? And that's going to be, honestly, my biggest and best advice for you guys is go talk to a doctor. But like I said, try to make sure that your doctor, if you're going to go to your primary or whatever, that they specialize in PCOS or at least have a good working knowledge of it. Because again, I spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Like, I still owe Mom Doc money, right? Like, they did $800 worth of tests that maybe I didn't even need, you know what I mean? Because they went in and just basically told me the same thing that I already knew by doing these ultrasounds and these camera scopes and stuff. So it's like, make sure that you are doing your research, find somebody who can really help you, which is basically what I did with Dr. B. So yeah, that's going to be my biggest advice to you guys. Like, again, like I said, I have so many of you who reach out to me on Instagram and you guys are like, well, what do you do? Like, how do you treat it? How do you know? Like, I've been feeling this way or I've been breaking out and, you know, how do I know? And that's going to be my biggest thing to tell you guys is like, go get it checked. Don't rely on me because I am not a medical professional. I have no type of degree or education in medicine. So I'm not going to be your best hope for that, but I can give you guys kind of the push that you need to understand what could be going on in the body. So the next big thing that I get a lot of you guys asking me about, which I think is very important for me to just kind of touch on, is how do I treat PCOS? And I ask myself that question all the time. How do you treat PCOS? How can I get rid of PCOS? How can I go back to living a more normal lifestyle where I don't have to worry about if I'll ever be able to have babies? And the truth is, like, you really just have to, again, talk to a doctor, and then really it's a lot of trial and error. For me, I'll tell you guys about what I first did to kind of help counteract this PCOS and what I was learning. I need to put something there. whatever. We'll worry about that in a bit. What I first did was that I tried to cut out dairy for a little bit because I was hearing that dairy was like a huge factor of triggering or irritating, you know, the PCOS. So I said, okay, no more dairy for a while. And I tried to cut it out, and I went on crazy fast diets that I thought would help me like lose the weight because I was gaining so much weight. I told you guys at my heaviest, I was 140 pounds, and I just felt horrible. I looked horrible. I was so unhealthy. And look at my dry skin popping through. Trying to get rid of this acne ain't no joke. But anyways, I went on like little, not really crash diets, but I went on little diets. Like I did keto, which actually, you know, it works for some people with PCOS, but not for others, especially those that are insulin resistant, where their body can't break down the glucose the way it's supposed to, or even like can't break down the carbs and the energy that's supposed to come from the carbs the way it's supposed to. So you have to like, there's so much that goes into it, and I really want to be able to like break it down, but I figured if I just did this initial video where I'm kind of talking about it, you guys could ask me more questions about what, you know, you want to understand more of. And what's great is that I'm doing more and more research for myself, but also for you guys. I want you guys to feel like you have somebody that you can confide in and talk to and work through these things and not be scared. I don't want you guys to be scared, because I was extremely scared with PCOS, more even recently, just thinking like, wow, like maybe I'm not going to ever be able to have kids. Like, honest to God, guys, if I was to try to have a child right now, I would probably lose it within the first trimester because of how horrible my PCOS is and how bad my hormones are just jacked up. And so that's something that like I really have to keep in mind, is like if I ever want to have a child, I need to make sure that I am doing what's best for my body and doing what's best for me. So that's kind of like the biggest thing that I wanted to kind of reiterate to you guys. Most of what I'm going to tell you guys is talk to a doctor. Like, I'm, again, no medical professional, so you guys definitely should talk to a doctor, but I wanted to at least give you guys that, you know? So anyways, so that's kind of what I did first. I just didn't stick to a real plan. I just was like, oh, I'm just gonna, you know, stop doing dairy, and I'm going to go on this quick little diet, and then everything's going to be good. But that's not how it works, right? Like, you stop doing that diet, you're going to just go back to the way you were. And so that's kind of what happened to me. I just kind of gave up on that. I did really, really well when I first found out about it, because I was like, oh, got to do something about this PCOS. But then after a while, I just kind of went back into my own ways, you know, like I went back into eating crappy food. I went back into just not really exercising or taking care of my body, which you can't do. You know what I mean? You can't do that, especially if you're trying to heal yourself and possibly reverse PCOS. Which, again, I'm still kind of skeptical on that, but I'm going to be doing more reading and research to figure out if that is a legitimate thing. Because if I could reverse this shit, ooh, girl. Ooh, girl. That would be bomb. I would probably be so happy. So, I'm going to tell you guys now what I've kind of been doing that has been working for me, which is completely changing around my lifestyle, right? So, yeah, you know, do I still eat my cookies and ice cream? Hell yeah, like I love cookies and ice cream. I actually haven't had Takis in probably about 2 months, so that's kind of crazy for me because I love Takis, but I just realized, you know, all that sodium and everything's just not good for me, so I have to, like, be cautious of what I do. So originally, I started a bit of a change by doing 100 or 1,200 calories a day. So I was only doing 1,200 calories, and I was keeping my macros in check, eating more protein than carbs. I think it was probably like, I don't remember the exact numbers when I started, but I had to stay under a certain amount of carbs a day, and I had to eat a certain amount of protein to help, you know, break down my foods and help me gain muscle rather than more fat. And again, no dietitian over here, no health coach. Like, I don't know anything about anything except for what worked for me. And so that's pretty much what I did. I just went on a 1,200 calorie diet, and I just switched up a lot of the stuff I was eating. For me, the biggest thing was switching to a low glycemic index diet. So almost kind of comparable to like what somebody with diabetes would do, you know, and so I had to switch over to that. I probably should have tried to do, I've been doing this thing where I put the concealer on and then let it dry and then put foundation over it, but I didn't do that, so whatever. This is, again, real life with PCOS. Okay, so now let's go back into what I was talking about. So I basically went all crazy and I was like, I need to fix this PCOS. Like, I'm going to go on like a 1,200 calorie diet and blah, 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 which worked, right? Like I lost 10 pounds, which was super cool. So when I started the whole little thing, I was about 138.6 or something like that. And then my last weigh-in that I had done when I was in Arizona, I was at 128. So I lost 10 pounds total in almost a 2-month, yeah, about a 2-month, no, actually about a month and a half of me changing up my eating habits. But I was really strict at the beginning, right? Like I didn't really give myself too much fun food. Like I didn't really do a lot of like cookies or snacks or things like that. I ate pretty much like just within my macros. So as I kept reading more and more about nutrition, you know, I realized your body can't really survive on 1,200 very well. Like your body needs more than that. And I don't want to have to be stuck eating less than 1,200 calories a day for the rest of my life. So I went up just a little bit, but I also need to implement more working out into my day, right? Because not only did I switch the caloric intake and the macros that I was eating, but I also added more exercise. I go on morning runs almost every single morning. I do a half-mile run. I start doing like strength training workouts. When the gyms were open, I went back to the gym, but when they're not, during all this Rona, like I've just been doing strength training workouts here at home, which works good for me, you know what I mean? Because it's obviously helped me lose weight and feel better. The biggest, hugest thing that I can say about all of this, you guys, is that I have so much more energy than I've ever had, which is incredible, because that was like the biggest thing. I told the doctor, like, I'm just so sick of feeling lethargic and tired. Like, I just want to feel okay. Oh, this is going to be hard. Let me just do this real quick. Anyway, that was the biggest thing for me. And that's what I had to tell the doctor, was that I just didn't like feeling that way, which is why he ran all the allergy tests too, because allergies surprisingly can make you feel very, very, very tired. Those are not even, oh my God. I hate eyeliner, guys. I hate it. Whatever. This is what we're going to go with. Like, look at, this one's going up and this one's not. There's no way for me to fix this right now, though. Like, whatever. If I keep drawing, they're just gonna be worse, and I'm just gonna be super unhappy. So pretend like they're both going. I don't know. We'll see. If it still looks bad after putting lashes on, like, we're not doing it. I'm actually going to be wearing my cousin's eyelashes. Let me cover one of these because they're all jacked up. But if you guys have not checked out Cotton Eyes Co on Instagram, check her out. Her lashes are amazing. I love them. And these ones are an Icy Baby. Oh, also, let's do a little promo of her packaging. Okay, cousin. Cute. So we're gonna put these on. Wish me luck, y'all. I forgot what I was talking about. Oh, okay. So I realized that doing like 13 or 1,200 wasn't going to be sufficient for my health. It did help me lose the weight, but you know, now I want to just kind of like maintain and stay healthy. So I did up it to 13, and again, I have to like make sure that I hit my macros. I think I try to stay under 96 grams of carbs, and I try to do at least 110 grams of protein. Again, not a health, fitness, anything professional, so don't go off my numbers. Just know like that's kind of what I did to change up stuff. Guys, this was a mission to put these on, but I'm looking and I'm like, no, that shit's still bugged up. Okay, we're just gonna pretend like the lashes made it better. Okay? Well, we're just gonna pretend, because otherwise I'm gonna lose my mind. So yeah, I'm gonna try not to look down as much so that you guys won't notice. Can we just talk about how pretty these lashes are? These are Icy Baby. They're super cute. I love them. They would look better if I didn't mess up my eyeliner. Duh, but it's okay. Next, I'm going to be using some brow soap or brow gel, brow balm from one of my other friends, Carla. She just launched these brow balms. This is Forever KV. This is her line. So these remind me of those old like lip tints that used to have for those cute little like lip glosses. Do you remember those as kids? But either way, I'm going to just use the little spoolie that it came with and try out her brow balm. So anywho, back to what I was saying as I work on these brows. Yeah, I realized that 12 wasn't going to be sufficient for me as far as like wanting to feel energized and getting the proper nutrients. I mean, you can definitely do it, but I didn't like being hungry. So I did up it to 13. I do need to like, you know, make sure that I'm implementing working out more if I'm going to up my calories. But that's kind of what I've just been doing. Okay, let's get them bad boys up, girl. That's kind of what I've been doing to just get my stuff under control. Now, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about my next steps. Pretty much what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to stay on a lower calorie diet with, you know, lower carbs and higher protein because I need to be able to maintain my weight. My weight can fluctuate like crazy, so I need to do that for myself. If you guys are ones that have, you know, issues with weight gain or keeping weight normal, I'd say definitely look into this. See if you can talk to a dietitian or nutritionist. You know, don't go off of what I'm doing because this is just what I chose to do and what works for me. But yeah, so I'm gonna stay on my 1300. I'm gonna make sure that I get my workouts in, and then we can just go through and fill in, because even when I put on like little brow balms or gels or whatever, I always try to put a little bit of my brow stuff on because I feel like it helps it just look a lot cleaner. So I'm still going to do that. But anyway, let's get back into what I was saying. So I am going to continue to stay on this, you know, this lower calorie, lower carb kind of diet. Not diet. This is the thing. I don't want to call this a diet because to me, this is truly a lifestyle change. I had to do a lot to get to where I am just right now. You know, like I had to switch up a lot of things in my life to get to where I am right now. And if I want to continue to get better, I have to make sure that I look at this as a complete and total lifestyle change for myself, and so that I can, you know, only get better from here. So I think sometimes when you think of it as like a diet or something that you have to do, the psychology behind it just makes it so much harder for you to want to do it. And for me, like, I, again, just didn't want to be tired anymore. I didn't want to be gaining weight like crazy. I didn't want to deal with, you know, the acne and things like that in my true adulthood, like going into my 30s. That's why I had to tell myself, like, this is a lifestyle change. This isn't just, I'm going to do this fad diet for, you know, X amount of time and then everything's going to be back to normal, because that's not how this stuff works. So just keep that in mind, like when you're having hard days or like, you know, you're trying to get through this, it's not a diet, it's a lifestyle change, and you're trying to do what's best for you at the end of the day. So keep that in mind when times get rough, because I know they will. I'm also going to be making sure that I take the time to just like really educate myself. I know that this video is probably going to be very vague in terms of like some of the other videos that I want to make for you guys about PCOS, about, you know, changing your habits. There's a lot of stuff that I want to talk to you guys about that I think you guys have kind of been wanting as far as like going into adulthood, you know, paying down debt, you know, saving actual money, looking into purchasing your car or your home or whatever. Like, there's a lot of stuff that you guys ask me about, and I'm like, you know what? Some of these things I do have knowledge in, and I should talk about it. So that is the best I could do. I don't know, guys. I was trying to like have a good makeup day, and I don't know. Maybe it's like the angle where the camera's at. It's getting on my bad side. Like, I don't even know. But I'm just not. Maybe I should just like look at you guys like this from way back here. I'm not digging it. But you know what? It's fine. Let's just keep going. I'm going to just finish up the look with a little bit of lip. And then I can tell you guys kind of what I want to do going forward, because I feel like that'll be easier. I'm going to throw that lip liner on, and then I'm going to use the new Juicy Gloss from BluTheCollection. Okay, Diz. We're going to use this over that. Yes. Oh my God. I love that. Do forgive me if this is kind of rushed in the last part here. My camera's dying. I'm going to try to finish this off and just kind of tell you guys what I'm going to be doing moving forward, and then open it up for you guys to ask any kinds of questions. Please ignore all the banging. My neighbor's banging something and it's catching everything on the microphone. But okay, first things first, I am going to stick to my lifestyle change. I'm going to make sure that I'm eating the right amounts of calories, hitting all my macros, and taking a look at the types of foods that I'm eating, making sure that I am eating foods that have a lower glycemic index, and just foods that are overall healthier for me. Not as many processed foods, not as many talkies, not as many things that just aren't going to work well for my body. I have to make sure that I keep an eye on that, and that I keep my eating in line, as well as my exercise. Always try to get at least 3 days a week of exercise. 3 of 7 is not bad at all, and it's not hard when you could get up 20 minutes earlier just to get a quick little workout in. So just keep that in mind, guys. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to start implementing more time for me to learn. I've been taking time at the end of the night to actually read rather than watch a whole bunch of Grey's Anatomy. As much as I love it, I need to educate myself and get myself in the know of everything. And so I downloaded this app from Vdovichenko, and it's called In the Flow, and basically, or My Flow, sorry. It's a really cool app because my screen's all dirty. It literally will tell you what cycle you're in. So like now I'm in the menstrual. It'll tell you what kind of foods that you should focus on. Like this tells you right now you want to eat proteins, fats, low glycemic index fruit and veggies, stuff to keep your blood sugar steady, all of that. Anything that can help remineralize your body with iron and zinc, which you lose during menstruation. So it's really cool because this app tells you the types of foods that you should eat. It also tells you the types of exercise you should be doing. And that's something that I really wanted to kind of go further into. And I don't want to talk about it too much right now because I don't have all of the information that I want to share with you guys. I was listening to an episode of Christine Hassler where she actually brought Alyssa onto the episode, and Alyssa talked all about her book, her app, and just the different types of exercises and foods that you should be doing and eating while you're in your different phases, working alongside your phases. So I do want to do that. I actually went ahead and purchased the book In the Flow. This is from Vdovichenko. I'm going to be reading this, learning more about it, learning more about cycles, and trying to learn how to cycle sync, which is basically, like I said, kind of eating and exercising for the cycle that you're in, because you'll have different energy levels depending on the different cycles. But we'll go into that in another video if you guys are interested. I really want to keep this more about the PCOS, but this is what I'm going to be doing moving forward. Reading more, getting myself more in the know, more educated on PCOS, your body, hormones, what you can do to help you, gain, lose, maintain weight, and help balance out your hormones altogether. So I will definitely be doing that moving forward. And of course, if you guys have any questions, definitely leave them down below. Let me know, ask them, because maybe it's something that I have answers to, or maybe I don't. And when I talk to my doctor, I can ask these questions and kind of give us all an idea of, what to look for, what to do when we're trying to live with PCOS. Those are just kind of my things that I want to do moving forward, making sure I stick to my plan for eating and exercising, making sure that I implement more time for studying and educating myself, and making more time for you guys to ask me questions that I can either research or help you guys answer, because I think this is going to be the easiest and best way for us to kind of like move forward, grow, and learn. I can learn so much just by listening to you guys ask me questions that maybe I wouldn't have thought of. So I definitely think that if you guys have any questions or you guys want any kind of guidance, leave it down below. I'll see what I can do to help you guys out in the best possible way. But that is pretty much it. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. I hope that it was interesting. I know I was like kind of all over the place with the makeup, and everything about this look frustrated me today. But I at least wanted to kind of give you guys an understanding of what PCOS is, you know, why I have it, why things are happening the way they happen in my body, and maybe it can kind of give you guys a little insight of things that maybe you've been questioning within yourself. Why am I gaining weight? Why am I getting acne? Why am I getting hair in places I didn't know? Why am I having these mood swings? Why is my period irregular? Why does it hurt when I have sex? You know, there's just so many things that I think you guys may, you know, have questions on, you know, being that a lot of you guys grew up with me. We're all around the same age these days, and there's a lot of stuff happening in our bodies, and I think that it's important for us to learn about our bodies. And I really wanted to get this out there, mostly because so many of you guys reached out to me about having PCOS or thinking that you may have PCOS, and you had so many questions. So I truly hope that this helped to answer some. I'm hoping to kind of turn this into like a lifelong journey series kind of thing that we can get further into. And again, your questions will help open up that communication. So if you guys have questions, definitely leave them below. If you liked this video, please give it a huge thumbs up because it means the world to me and it really does help me out, especially since your girl keeps leaving. If you are not subscribed to my channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.